Welcome to week 14. We're almost through. I'm Brad Scheller, and this is it. 13 weeks of learning about advancements in product development approaches and frameworks, case studies, brainstorming, prototypes, synthetic persona, market research, strategy, feedback, all have been building towards this moment. You've developed some great concepts. Now you have to sell it. And the best way to ensure success is to practice, practice, practice. So this week is your practice presentation, the dress rehearsal before the real thing. This week has 4 tasks. You're going to watch a lecture video on applying object-oriented principles to physical products and services. You're going to read chapter 17 on service design, which I saved for last because I'm slightly dyslexic and overlooked it earlier. You're going to take the end of the semester comprehensive quiz covering all 19 chapters, and you'll post your team's practice presentation. You're going to create a peer review rubric and provide structured feedback on 2 other teams' decks. Now, it's not as full a week as others have been because I want you to focus on putting the final professional touches on your efforts. You've put in a lot of work this semester, and this is the payoff. So let's go. So here's your complete week 14 delivery plan. Number 1, you're going to watch a lecture video on object-oriented principles for physical products and services. And I'll have that up in a day or so. It's not vital for your work this week, but I want you to be aware of the topic because it's becoming very important in the business models. You saw that with Tesla. Wall Street puts a premium on these things. No submissions needed. Just watch it when you can. Number 2, you're going to read chapter 17 on service design and take the end of the semester comprehensive quiz covering all 19 chapters. And that's going to be due Sunday, April 12th at 11:59 p.m. Number 3, you're going to post your team's practice presentation to the Canvas discussion by Thursday, April 9th at 11:59 p.m. so that your classmates can give you feedback by Sunday. This is the full pitch deck. There's no placeholders. This is going to be filled in later, etc. This is your final chance to get good feedback and practice for that final presentation next week. Number 4, you're going to post your graded peer feedback for other teams' practice presentations to Canvas by April 12th, 11:59 p.m. You're going to build a rubric first. Now I'm giving you a tool for doing that to make it easy for you. It's something that actually you can take with you in your career. But in this rubric, you're going to basically use it to grade these other presentations, and you're going to give that to them and talk about it. And so that's this week. Next week's the final presentation, and that's it for the semester. Before I go on to the rest of this, I just want to say I'm genuinely grateful for all of you for doing real work this semester, every one of you. My philosophy on teaching at this level is that if you aren't being challenged enough to come away and significantly grow your skills so that you can have a competitive advantage in your career, then I've failed you and you've wasted your time and money. But each of you have gone through not only the typical material that is covered in this course, which I believe is not as relevant as it was years ago, but also experienced the leading edge thinking that emerging AI is bringing to the field. You've applied frameworks that best product teams in the world use. You built, tested, iterated, uses synthetic persona, and pushed through when things got hard. The ability to take an idea from zero to a structured, validated, financially grounded product pitch, most people never develop this, and you have that skill now. So let's finish strong. I'll see you in the final presentations. Make them unforgettable. So again, your first task this week is just watching the lecture video on applying object-oriented principles to physical products and services. Now, most of you have heard of object-oriented programming and software context, Python classes, Java inheritance, encapsulation. Yeah, common locker room talk, right? This week's video talks about what does OOP thinking look like when you're designing a physical product or a service system? And that question is important because Tesla, SpaceX, and others like Extreme Manufacturing have shown that Wall Street investors love this concept and use it in evaluating companies. So the answer is it looks exactly the same as in the programming. Tesla's vehicle platform is object-oriented. All the models inherit the same base architecture. Apple's product family uses inheritance. Boeing's avionics are encapsulated subsystems with defined interfaces. The list goes on and on. Now, the four concepts you're going to take away: encapsulation, which is hiding complexity behind a clean interface; inheritance, which is platform thinking where one architecture supports an entire product family; abstraction, which is designing to an interface so components can be upgraded independently; and real-world applications, showing how the world's most scalable products are object-oriented under the hood. Now, my recommendation is before you leave this course for the semester, make sure to watch it, because it is going to be something that it'll help you understand opportunities to improve businesses that you're in or processes that you're in. And this lens will make it more easier for you to make more compelling arguments to explain your concepts in the future. Runtime is probably about 15 to 18 minutes, and you're going to find it in Canvas under week 14 module. So again, your reading this week is chapter 17, Service Design, which I'd overlooked earlier. This is the final chapter, and now you can sell your book on eBay. So I'll be looking for that. Most of the textbook has focused on physical, tangible products. Chapter 17 shifts the lens to services and what the authors call product service systems. Now, this matters because in the real world, almost no company sells a physical product without a surrounding service. Software ecosystems, maintenance contracts, customer support, or retail experiences. The chapter distinguishes services from physical products in four key ways. Services are intangible. You're designing an experience, not an object. They're produced and consumed simultaneously. You can't manufacture a consulting service in advance and store it, which I actually disagree strongly with, because that's something I've done all my life. I make a lot of money on it in my consulting career by coming up with methodologies that have product tools and templates behind them. And that is because products sell faster and easier than services. Anyway, the customer is a co-producer. Their behavior and presence actively shape the outcome. And services are variable because humans are evolved. Consistency is harder to control than in automated manufacturing. The most important framework in this chapter is the service blueprint. Now, think of this as a flow chart that maps the entire service delivery process across four zones. It's customer actions. You have then the front stage actions the customer sees directly. You have the backstage actions the customer doesn't see, but that really do enable the front end and front stage delivery. And then you have the supporting processes like the underlying IT infrastructure and management systems. I call this sort of the patient's journey or the customer's journey. Anyway, the blueprint helps teams find bottlenecks, failure points, and improvement opportunities before you launch anything. According to the textbook, because services are intangible, you can't prototype them with a 3D printer, although you can package them as methodologies with AI supporting frameworks. I hope the team that wrote the book learns that for the next edition. Chapter 17 outlines alternatives: storyboarding the experience sequence, role-playing as customer and provider, service walkthroughs in physical space, and pilot testing, a live beta with real customers. As you read, think about how these tools apply to your own product. If your product has a service component, a subscription, an app, a support system, the service blueprint is a powerful tool for your pitch and for your career. So your third task this week is the end of semester quiz. It's a comprehensive assessment of the course, and it covers all 19 chapters of the textbook. That's the full arc from stage gate and product planning in the early chapters through customer needs, concept generation and selection, product architecture, industrial design, design for manufacturing, prototyping, robust design, patents, economics, project management, whatever. And finally, the service design framework in Chapter 17. The quiz is due Sunday, April 12th at 11:59 p.m. Suggestion, if you can interested, is put all its chapters into Notebook LM and ask it to generate practice questions for each chapter. That'll take about 20 minutes and gives you a chapter by chapter study guide that actually reflects how I think about the material. The frameworks are what matter most on this quiz. Know stage gate cold. Know the Pew matrix and when to use it. Know Scamper for ideation. Know Amazon's working backwards. Know Jeffrey Moore's technology adoption lifecycle from Crossing the Chasm. Know the service blueprint from Chapter 17. If you can explain each of those frameworks in 3 sentences with a real world example, then you're ready for the quiz. Now, do not save this preparation for Sunday morning. With everything else due this week, the practice presentation, the peer review, the discussions, you want to start your review today and pace it across the week. That's my suggestion. And now we come to the big one. Your team project deliverable for week 14 is the practice presentation. This is your dress rehearsal. It's not a rough draft. It's a full practice pitch. Everything in, no placeholders. Your presentation must hit 9 components, all drawn directly from the pitch framework in the week 13 lecture video. The 1, performance scorecard. Define what success looks like in measurable terms, both project level and product level. 2, the problem story. Start out your pitch with one story, one statistic. Make the audience feel the pain, not just understand it intellectually, but feel it. Detailed persona data goes into your exhibit book. Get one story that's compelling and tell it here. 3, the solution demo and how it works. You don't show, you don't tell, you show. Screenshots, live demo, or prototypes, walk through those. Then a 3-step visual user does this, then that, and this happens, and then you get a result. 4, target market and market opportunity. This is the specific beachhead that you could walk into a room and point to the exact person you're selling to. Then the TAM to SAM to SOM funnel with your sources. 5, positioning and competitive advantage. 2 views. How the market sees it now and how you rename or remake the market viewpoint to fit your product and how you sell that. 6, research evidence. This is where persona testing that you did pays off. Purchase intent, percentage, willingness to pay versus your price point, before and after improvements across 2 rounds of testing. That's what goes in here. 7, the business model. How do you make money? Pick your model, subscription, transaction, licensing, marketplace, whatever, and show how an investor would understand it. If it's too complicated, you don't understand it enough to present yet. 8 is basically why is this team the team that should be able to win this specific battle? What does this team have that's going to make it a winner? One differentiating fact, no resume dump. This is why this person's in this position and it's going to help this team win. 9, make sure you get the ask and add the vision. Specific amount, specific use of funds, specific 18-month time milestone. Then end it on the vision. What's going to make them lean forward and say, I'm in, tell me more. Now post this to Canvas by Thursday, April 9th, 11:59 p.m. so classmates can get a chance to provide you timely feedback and suggestions. Okay, so once your team has posted the practice presentation, your next task as an individual is to pivot and do your peer reviews. And you're going to do a couple of things interestingly different this week. First, you're going to create a rubric by yourself. Now, don't panic. I'm giving you a tool that you can use, and it's going to make it easy for you. In fact, it's something that I think you can take with you in your career and use it in many different scenarios. I've used that quite frequently to basically improve all my work. Now, because I have a strange and often childish sense of humor, I have trademarked the framework as Scheller's Superior Human in the Loop Evaluation Framework. knowing full well that the acronym is going to make a lot of GitHub programmers giggle with glee. Looking forward to that. But here's why you're going to do this. By the time you're a senior professional evaluating products, pitches, companies, teams, whatever, no one hands you a rubric. You need to have an internalized sense of what is good and what it looks like, and be able to articulate it precisely and give people feedback and suggestions for improvement. Building a rubric before you evaluate whatever gives you the ability to think critically about criteria, weighting, and what actually matters in either a product pitch or a business. And this concept of building the evaluation test framework prior to actually building anything comes directly from object-oriented programming. And although I have added a few twists to it in my framework, it's basically that. It's got 3-step process. First, you're going to build your rubric. You're going to create evaluation criteria that reflect what you believe makes a great product pitch. At minimum, your rubric should address story and narrative clarity, market validation and sizing, prototype or demo quality, business model logic, presentation delivery, and the credibility of the financial ask. Add your own criteria if you see gaps. Weigh them in a way that reflects your perspective on what matters most. Step 2 is you're going to use your rubric to review these 2 assigned team presentations. Watch carefully, score each team against each criteria, write down specific observations for each criteria. Do not submit vague feedback. I'm looking for specific, actionable, constructive commentary. That's where you're going to gain experience. Step 3 is post your rubric and your completed scoring for both teams in Canvas. Now, a final note on this. The quality of feedback you give is a direct reflection on how deeply you understand product design. Strong reviews make every team in the room better, and that's a standard I'm holding you to. And we come to our final task for this week, and it's the graded discussion. Now, let me explain the difference between previous slide and this one. The previous slide, where you give feedback in the rubric, is worth 1.7 points, and this is an extra 0.3 points for the 2 points for this discussion forum. So what I'm looking for here is you posted these rubric feedback and comments and suggestions, and now I'd just like you to discuss them with your classmates. What did they think about your grades? Were they right on? Were your suggestions strong? What did they agree with? What did they disagree with? You're going to learn from each other. And this is, I think, one of the great things about classes that utilize teams and discussion forums. So these are the things I'm looking for, and I'm going to grade upon. The quality of your suggestions, the evidence you provide, and the engagement you have in terms of, are you looking at specific items? Like on slide number 5, you said such and such, but that was misleading and you didn't have any facts, that sort of stuff. Talk about the delivery. Do you think that it was too long, too slow? Was there no story involved? Talk about the things that made up your scoring criteria if they're different than most. So what gets full criteria credit for this is just strong comments. You can argue, debate. That's what I love to see. The discussion's due Sunday, April 12th at 11:59. And then after that, just going to go into the final week and make your final presentation, put together your peer review of your team, and give your course of what did you learn in the course type of memo. And that's it. You're free for the summer until your next class. Again, I'll look forward to your presentations next week. If you have any issues, drop me a line through Canvas. We can meet on Thursday. If you have anything you want to go over, I'd be happy to help. Take care.